from one family of wrestlers to a single wrestler. The Wrestler, 2008. Matt, what's the plot?
The plot is an aged wrestler he's wrestling, right? But he's getting older, he's getting injured because he does lots of bad shit. He needs to get out of this, man. He's really bad. His girlfriend's a stripper. And he's terrible relationship with his daughter. And he just kind of tries to carry on wrestling when the world's telling him, please stop wrestling.
He wrestles with his addiction.
He wrestles with... So is that what the wrestler means? Is it a double meaning?
Maybe. I don't think Darren Aronofsky is clever enough to think of that.
Darren Aronofsky is a genius. Have you seen The Whale? He's a fat man and he's sad. And that's clever because there's two things.
That's true.
So is depth.
That's true. And this one, he's a wrestler and he's sad.
And Moby Dick as well. Like, he's a whale because he's a big fat whale. He's a fat man, but also a whale because his daughter wrote about Moby Dick once.
That's true. Yeah, what did you think of The Wrestler?
I thought it was better than The Iron Claw.
Yes.
I think it was a better made film, and I think the main character was so sort of... He really felt like a real guy. He was... I know for sure there's people just like that. I felt so invested. It almost felt like a documentary. I think Mickey Rourke's performance as well was so real.
Right. Really
and I think
great.
he was heavily influenced as well by real wrestlers. I didn't care very much for the Marissa Tomei storyline. And yeah, maybe it had slightly more of a narrative, but that's not really the point. So yeah, I don't know. You loved it. What do you...
I loved it. I think this is... After seeing this, I kind of feel like I should like The Sound of Metal less. Because The Sound of Metal is just this, but music. Like, almost exactly the same. Where you have very well-established, well-loved artist who is forced to stop doing what they're doing. They then need to try and come to terms with it and then decide they want to stay doing what they're doing. They want to stay in the art because they can't get away from it.
Yeah.
And I think this, The Wrestler compared to The Iron Claw, The Wrestler is, like you said, it's almost documentary feel. It's all handheld.
It's like really, it must be like 16mm. It's really grainy.
Really grainy.
It's not like smooth movements with the camera too. It just looks like someone walking as they hold it.
Yeah,
like...
someone just following this guy around. And I thought it was just filled with loads of great moments. And just the way Randy the Ram Robinson is characterized is brilliant. It's really great.
It is, yeah. It is very much like what we were saying with the Iron Claw. It's he knows nothing else apart from wrestling. Yeah. And now he's got to the point where he really shouldn't be doing it anymore. Like, he doesn't know what else he can do. Yeah. And he takes up another job
is he without
at a supermarket deli. And at first it seems like, oh, actually he's great at this because he's a showman and he can, so he's great with customers. But then he's like, when he gets recognised for that, he realises, like, I was a giant in my wrestling and now I'm doing this. It's his pride can't take that, and it just all consumes him, even with his daughter as well.
Yeah, it's framed as an addiction, isn't it? So he's forced out of wrestling because of a heart issue, and he's told that if he does any more strenuous exercise, then he will likely die. So he's forced out and pursues a relationship with May Parker, Peter Parker's auntie, who is stripping to try and get Peter through college in this film. It's great, but she doesn't want anything to do with him because he is a customer. But she convinced him to go and
also because he had
daughter.
He had that scrap with Iron Man as well.
He did. Yes, he lost the accent. I don't know how, but that's also another reason why he's a terrorist.
Yeah, and obviously that's like her nephew's like mentor. Like they got that like family sort of.
It's a bit awkward.
Yeah.
So he goes to reconnect with his daughter, and it's an uphill battle, but because wrestling is I guess an allegory for a form of addiction, whether it's in art, whether it's substance, he just can't stay away and stands her up for dinner to go and see a wrestling match. But even those wrestling bits were lovely. Like, I've never seen behind the curtains of wrestling. You know where they're like talking and they're going up to him and he's like, I know I'm about to fight you, but good luck. You're doing great. You're gonna take off. Like, you've got such great showmanship. Like, what an interesting culture to look into.
It is interesting. The fact that the whole like narrative which the audience sees is just rivalry and just like Yeah, let's do this. Oh, are you comfortable with me staple gunning you? And he's like, does it hurt? It's like, it hurts a little bit more taking it out, but it's not too bad. It's like, all right, fine, yeah, we'll do that. Then we'll go for a drink after.
Yeah, and because he just can't stay away from this, I don't know, like you mentioned, because he's so well renowned in it, or because he loves it so much, he loves his art, that then his relationship with his daughter falls flat, and the relationship with Marissa Tomei falls flat until the climax. And he's drawn back in. It's like a grotty companion piece to Black Swan, really. Whereas Black Swan is more a higher art, quote unquote higher art.
Yes.
And not being able to step away. This is the low grotty version of that. But
yeah, even though, I mean, from the audience's point of view, high art, low art, but it's still, the ballet we see in Black Swan is still very demanding. And have you seen the photos of like ballerinas' feet, and they're fucked. Like they're just all bruised, completely covered in plasters, and like all like the bones, they're completely out of shape. Black Swan's a better film though, in my opinion.
Come on, Darren, make a different film. You've made two of the same film there. Yeah, one thing I thought very interesting, final fight, almost like a comeback fan favourite fight, going up against an American guy pretending to be from the Middle East as his character, and he gives his speech at the end about never giving up because it's for the fans and for the sport.
Yeah.
And he's just like falling apart, but he never lands at the end. Did you see that? He
flies off into space. Yeah.
He does a Nathan Fielder. He gets on the top rope and he does his ram move, and he jumps off, but you never hear him land.
See, I kind of interpret it. First of all, it's like, wait, is he meant to have like died there? Is it like a sort of Sopranos?
He died in place.
When it cuts to black, he got whacked. Like, I think it's kind of assumed that he dies very shortly after that.
Yes,
like while wrestling in the ring.
Yeah.
I was hoping it would end with like him finally being like, yeah, I'm going to give up this for the sake of my daughter, and it doesn't end like that.
No,
it doesn't happen.
It's a great non-arc, isn't it? Where you still go through the motions of a character starting in one place, learning their lessons, but deciding against it ultimately.
Well, yeah, because you still go through the character, but it's just like in our minds of what could have happened, what should have happened.
Yeah. Equally, either way, it's kind of one of those things where he could have fallen either way, depending on if the relationship with Tomei was slightly different, or with his daughter was slightly different. But giving everything for the art. Again, we've fallen into another almost perfect film. Not a lot to talk about other than just go and see it. It should.
Do you want to come up with a plot for The Wrestler 2?
But he's an angel.
That's true, yeah.
It's like the original Gladiator 2 plot. Do you know that?
No.
Originally, I believe that he was sent back down from heaven to gladiate.
That's weird. It's his nephew, isn't it? In the new one.
In the new one, I don't know the Paul Mescal one. But originally it was Russell Crowe again, coming down from heaven to do more gladiator stuff. So I feel like that's The Wrestler 2, is being sent down, almost like a Constantine film, to wrestle demons.
To wrestle the Von Erichs and wrestle Brendan Fraser from The Whale.
That'll be like the Wolverine Blob fight, wouldn't it? From X-Men Origins Wolverine. What did you rate The Wrestler? I feel like this hasn't been a very long The Wrestler discussion, but...
I gave it 4 stars.
I gave it 5.
Wow, that's the most stars a man can have.